Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Y'all love my last video so much, and I just want to say thank you for all those who subscribe to my channel. Like, I really appreciate you guys, and those who follow me on Instagram and message me. Like, I do message you guys back, and I just really appreciate all the support. And it's comforting to know that I wasn't the only one that was blocked by Shani. So, you know, I'm not gonna take it personal. You know, it is what it is, and I just love the discussion that's being done on my previous video and all the support and everything. So I just want to say thank you for all the new subscribers. I really love all the support and just all the new people that want to subscribe to my channel. And I promise you guys, like, I am trying to upload more often, more consistently. So I just been busy because I do work in the media business. Like, I do work for like an actual like media company, and so it gets hectic at my job, and I'm also a mother, so sometimes I just can't post. But promise you guys, I will never forget about you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. As some of you guys know, you know, Gina Rodriguez had said the N-word. I know it's been talked about and a lot of people are talking about it, but I just want to know, like, when was this election? Because the Black Caucus leader election, because I am registered to vote, and I just don't know when it was, this election has went on for certain Black people, our spokesperson for the majority of Black people, to give out the N-word passes to other races. Like, come on now. Like, when was this election? Did you know about this election? Because I didn't know about this election, because I'm registered to vote. I'm always registered to vote, and I'm Black. So I just want to know who voted for these certain Black people to give out the N-word passes to other races, because I missed this election, and I damn sure would have voted for somebody else, because I don't know. How can you speak for the majority of Black people? Like, when did the Black Caucus leader get initiated? Because I don't know about it. So apparently there's some Black people who are okay with Gina Rodriguez saying the N-word. And then there's others who are saying, well, she can't say it because she's been controversial in the past. She has definitely made it known that she is not part of the Black community. She does not relate to the Black community, and that she looks at herself as other. See, one thing I would like to say, I love the Latino community. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, they were there for me, and this is sad to say, because I love my Black people, especially women. Like, I love Black women. Not saying I don't love other races, but I love my Black women, because I can relate to y'all on a different level that others cannot relate to. And growing up, you know, I was called the white girl. I was made fun of. I was bullied by other Black girls. I went to a majority Black and Hispanic school, and the Hispanics accepted me. Like, I was nothing but friends, like, with Hispanic girls. So I know the Latino community very well, because I grew up with just being friends with nothing but Latina girls. So, and I say Latina because they come in, like, I have Venezuelan friends, I have Mexican friends, and I still have them to this day. So I asked my friends, I said, hey, do you guys use the N-word? And they're like, no, I don't use the N-word. And then I asked them, I said, do you look at yourself like you are Black? And they say, no. And I said, well, do you look at yourself as white? And they say, no, I'm Latina. So, therefore, I think a lot of people are giving certain people outside the community, especially the Latino community, the N-word pass, because Fat Joe apparently says all Latino people are Black, which is not true, because there is a controversy within the Latino community. Don't get it twisted. If you call a Latino person Mexican or mistake them as Mexican, they look at you like you didn't curse their mama out. Okay, they will be like, I am not Mexican. They look at Mexicans as a certain way, and then they look at Dominicans as a certain way. Like, there's a lot of racism and colorism going on in the Latino community, and it has something to do with Spaniards. Spaniards are originally European descent, and they migrated and discovered a lot of these Latino countries, and they mixed around with Indian people like Native Americans. I'm going to use those as an example. Most Mexican people, they are not black. They may have tan skin and they may have coarse hair, but they are not black. They are mestizos. So the definition of mestizo in Latin America, a man of mixed race, especially one having Spanish and indigenous descent. Indigenous descent means he can have a little bit of African, European, Indian, Spanish, you know, European descent, but they are not white. They are not counted as white, and they're not counted as black. They are mestizo because they are mixed with a lot of things, especially Indian, and that's where they get their dark skin, not from African descent. Everybody has a little bit of African in them. Don't get it twisted. But I have a little bit of white in me, but I'm not going around calling myself Irish. I'm not going around calling myself European. So why should Hispanic people take away from that, what everything that they're mixed with, and call themselves black? Because they're not. I think black people love to include everyone as black because some black people think, well, if everyone's black, then that can end racism. I'm sorry, but that's not realistic. And just because we include people in the black community because of a one-drop rule does not mean that they're going to look at themselves as us. They're gonna look at themselves as better if that is their mindset, you know. And you know, it's crazy because we give out these N-word passes to a lot of Latinos, and I definitely, my first time experiencing racism wasn't from a black person. It was from a Hispanic girl, and I was in elementary, and she had thick, curly, dark hair. She had dark skin, and she was Hispanic. She spoke, you know, Spanish or whatever. And I remember she had a sleepover, and she specifically said, and we were all a group of friends, and she specifically said, you're not invited because my dad does not like black people. And all my friends, and this is very sad to say, but all my friends were, you know, they were white and Hispanic, and they were like, oh my God, we want Brittany to come. Let's get our crayons and color her skin white. And as an adult, you know, I didn't really realize the impact of that and how just degrading that is, and that I had to try to paint my skin white to go to my friend's sleepover because I was the only one that wasn't invited because I was black. I wasn't invited. So that was my first time. So can Hispanic people be racist? You damn skippy they can be racist. And it's the traditional, you know, the younger ones, you know, they're more into the culture and stuff like that. And the older ones are the ones that's like, my friends have told me they cannot bring a black man home because their parents are going to look at them like, you know, they stereotype black men. They stereotype black people as lazy, aggressive. They stereotype them as much as what racism has stemmed from. And just because this person is another person of color and they're a minority does not mean that they cannot discriminate against black people. Because I work in the news business, and I actually, sadly, and it hurt my feelings, it really did hurt my feelings to see that more Hispanic people were talking crap about black people and saying, well, I don't see why Trump doesn't like Mexicans because black people are blah, blah. And I think what the problem is that Mexican, Hispanic people want to fit in with the white community so bad. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying there's a lot that want to fit in with the white community so bad that they say, well, at least I'm not an N-word, because black people are basically the victim, the face of racism, you know, victim of racism. Black people, we are the face. We are the foundation of racism, victims of racism. You know, when you think of racism, you automatically think of black people. You don't think of, you know, others. You think of black people first and then others. You know, that's why when Trump attacked Mexican people, black people rallied behind Mexican people, because Mexican people were like, you know, well, if they're discriminating against us, then Trump is definitely don't like black people, because if he doesn't like Mexicans, then, you know, then he definitely don't like, you know, black people. And, you know, black people, we are, and it's sad that other minorities are racist against us, because without black people, there would be no other, like, there's no pass for other races. There's no pass for Hispanic people. There's no pass unless they are white passing. There's no pass for Asians and Indians. Like, if it wasn't for the Black movement, civil rights and Black power movement, there would be no Chicano movement. There would be no brown movement. There would be no rights of others. Like, if it wasn't for Black people stepping up to the plate and fighting for rights, Hispanic people wouldn't have these rights. Asian people wouldn't have these rights. Indian people, no person of color would have these rights. So it's just kind of sad that because Black people and their movement are the foundation, is the foundation of a lot of our rights, and we are the most disrespected. And it just became a point where Black culture is more popular than Black people, and everybody wants to be down, but nobody wants to be Black, you know. And people say that, like, what do you mean everybody wants to be down and nobody wants to be Black? Like, you have, you know, it's convenient to be Black when it's cool. And I think it just became where, like, Black culture is more popular than Black people themselves, because you have people fighting so hard to say the N-word. And why? Why are you fighting so hard to say the N-word when you don't even fight hard? It's so hard for you to utter Black Lives Matter, but it's not hard for you to utter the N-word. I don't understand. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel. But I just want to know from my Latino community is, why is it so easy for a lot to want to say the N-word but don't want to fight for Black rights? Because I know for a fact, if people come after the Latino community, Black people are rallying right with them, you know. But when it comes down to our rights, there's a speckle of whites, Blacks, Hispanics, and other races that fight with us, but it's a lot that do not fight with us, and they see themselves as other. And I'm very disappointed in Amara La Negra, because she is someone who fights for her community first and then racism. And she doesn't really fight for racism. I feel like she fights for her personal benefits as a Latina woman. She wants to identify as a Latina woman. That is her community. That is her community, and that's what she wants to be accepted into. And to say Loni Love on the Real and Amara La Negra was basically saying, like, you know, if you don't want people to use the N-word, don't put it in songs. Now, just because they're not in songs don't mean people are not saying the N-word. Let's just get this all the way correct. Like, it doesn't matter if it's in a song or not. People are still using this word. And I can see it from both sides. And it's a very, very touchy subject. And it's a great discussion to have. Because in all reality, yes, you know, should it be a full song where it's like my N, you know that song, like that's like literally the whole song is the N-word. And Black people say, well, it's a word of endearment, but only for Black people. And like, and other races are like, well, why can't we say it? That's not fair. Well, that's called Black privilege. You know, that's called Black privilege, just like there's white privilege. And white people, just because you don't see white privilege doesn't mean that white privilege doesn't exist. And Hispanic people, some white passing do have a privilege as well. They're not deemed upon as Black, because there's a privilege to being Hispanic as well, because Black people are discriminated against by Hispanic people as well. Hispanic cops. Look at Zimmerman, for example. He wasn't a cop, but he discriminated another Black kid and saying that he looks like, you know, a thug. And that's how, sadly enough, a lot of people in the Latin community view Black people. Black people are, you know, victim of white supremacy, and other races fall into that stereotype by looking at Black people like that as well, you know. And it's sad to say, but that's true. Like I said, so I'm just trying to see why people are saying, you know, okay, it's okay to use the N-word in a song, but you just can't say it. And that is Black privilege, because there's not a lot of Black privilege to have. So this is that one thing where, and if you're white, you just definitely can't say it. I'm sorry. If you cannot be oppressed by Black people, and no one can really be oppressed by Black people because we've been oppressed for so long and the system is just not made. Like, if a Black person cannot stop you from getting a loan or getting into a certain college or coming into a certain neighborhood or stalking you down because of your color or have enslaved your ancestors for hundreds of years and had gotten a head start in this world, which will never happen to other races by Black people, unless we revert backwards, which will never happen. And Black people are the majority of the 1%. And until white people become the minority, where they are discriminated against, where I'm not talking about single incidents, but I'm talking about like where it's just happening all the time, and there's most Black people in office, and there's most Black people who are in the police office making the decisions and incarcerating white people because, you know, they look terrifying. Until that happens, white people cannot be oppressed. Okay, so therefore, if you cannot be oppressed, you shouldn't be using the N-word. And Hispanic people, like if you do not identify with the Black community and you want to dip in and out when it's convenient for you, like the ones that say, oh, I'm Afro-Latino, I'm Afro-Latino, you know, they want to dip in and out when it's convenient because it's cool to say, because you just want to seem down. You can't say it either. You can't say the N-word. And if you're a Black person and you just don't like the word, there's a lot of Black people who do not use the N-word. And that's the problem. I think a lot of races are like, well, if y'all can say it, not everybody say the N-word. Not every Black person say the N-word. They take that very seriously. And these Black people who are giving out these passes like, well, I'm cool with him so he could say the N-word. It's like, well, you better let him know that he cannot say it around other people. I had a friend that just posted on Instagram and said, you know, he was at a bar and this Hispanic woman called him the N-word. And she bought him a shot or something like that. And then after she called him the N-word, and he was like, don't call me that. I don't know you. I don't know you. Don't call me that. Because, you know, one thing about Hispanic people, they can say the N-word to you in a most endearment way. Like, oh yeah, like, yeah, you my N-word. But then behind your back, they can use that in a totally different way. If I call another Black person an N-word, they're not going to take it any other way than, oh, you trying to be disrespectful. But if a Hispanic person says the N-word, they can say it in a way where they're trying to oppress you. They're trying to knock you down as if they are better than you. And they will say, I am not an N-word. You are. And that's how they look at you. They look at you like you're the N-word, not me. They can look at you like that. And if you can look at somebody like that, then you shouldn't be using that word, because you're basically oppressing this person at this point, and you're basically being racist. Gina Rodriguez thought she was down. She's not for the Black community. She's never been for the Black community. She's never identified with the Black community. You know, it was an interview that came out where she was talking about, you know, oh, it's for all women. She tried to all lives matter the situation. And it's just like, no, we're talking about Black people, because at the end of the day, as much as people want to say, why does race matter? Well, I would say, why would race matter too if mostly all I see is superheroes that look like me, and I see celebrities that look like me and models that look like me? I would say, you know, why does it matter? It doesn't affect me. Why does it matter? Yeah, it doesn't matter because you already see representation, you know? You've seen it all throughout your life, the representation of your race. When Black people, there's a lot of firsts that we have not done yet. Like, we only had one Black president. And how many presidents has it been so far? And all of them have been white, you know? And we haven't had, you know, we only have one, and he was biracial. He wasn't even like a full Black man. A lot of people don't want to say that, but we claim what we claim. We claim what we have. I mean, if that's the best we're going to get, we're going to claim it, you know? If it's a biracial man that identifies as Black, all right, we'll accept you in as a Black man. All right, cool. That's what you want to identify as? Okay, cool. That's what Obama went off of. And he knew the Black community was like, yeah, if you count yourself as Black, and you identify as Black, and you go through Black issues and Black problems, and you understand it from the bottom, like Cardi B, a lot of people have problems with her saying the N-word, which I do agree that she probably shouldn't be saying it. But one thing about Cardi B is that she's never dipped in and out and said that she identified as Afro-Latina. And she stood by it. She stand by Black rights. Gina Rodriguez has never stood by Black rights. And I'm not saying it's right that she has, you know, saying the N-word, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to sit here and act like you're down with singing a song, like, and I feel like Gina Rodriguez did that on purpose to try to, like, get a rise, because it's a trend now to piss Black people off. I guess it's just like beneficial to piss off Black people. I mean, what do you guys think below? My battery is about to die, so I'm gonna have to end this video very, very soon. But at the end of the day, like, what do you guys feel about black people giving out the N-word pass, and this Boys to Men saying, well, she's basically black. Like, who are these black men who are giving out these N-word passes thinking it's okay for other races? Because just because you're giving her a pass, she's going to turn around and use it against you and saying, you know, these N-words give me heebie-jeebies. She didn't say front and N-word. She said N-words give me heebie-jeebies. Like, she was adamant about it. That was a subliminal message right there. I think she was trying to make a point to let y'all know, like, y'all give me heebie-jeebies. Like, who knows what she meant by that? She could say all day, like, oh, I grew up listening to that song. And it's like, well, that's a privilege to say that word. And just like there's a privilege to being lighter complected and there's a privilege to being white, there's a privilege to say that word, because black people want to take back that word. Because just because we stop saying that word doesn't mean it's gonna go away. That word has never went away. It's been around for years. And just because you don't say the ER or the you say the GA at the end, first of all, the ER came from up north, the GA came from down south, because as you know, the down south, we have an accent, okay? We don't always say things properly. So the N-word was still used, that same N-word was still used in the south. It's just that black people took it back because they're like, you're still gonna call me that, but I'm gonna take that word and not make it as powerful as it is, because no lie, when somebody calls you of a different race call you an N-word, that kills your soul. Sorry guys, my camera battery is, like I said, it's very low, so I'm about to make this really short as I can. But like I said, like when somebody say the N-word, it kills your soul in a way, especially when they mean it in a derogatory way. And it's just like, if you have the privilege of saying that word, ooh, if you have the privilege of saying that word to oppress me, you can't say that word, because you could backdoor and get mad at me and say that word in a different way that somebody of my skin color can say it. And if you dip in and out of the black community when it's convenient for you, but identify as a different race when it's convenient for you, you cannot say it. I just don't understand why people fight so hard to say that word more than saying that Black Lives Matter. It's like that word, why is it so hard for you not to say? Especially if you know the history of it. That's a privilege for us to say it because of what our ancestors went through, and it's basically karma that you can't say it because what your ancestors did. You may have not, you know, done what your ancestors have done, and you may not be responsible for it, but you do benefit from, I don't even know, these are gonna stick on because they over dried. But you do benefit from the decisions that your ancestors have made. You know, you got a head start in life. You don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder because you're black, and you know, you don't have to worry about the KKK. Then you shouldn't be saying that word, because the KKK definitely says that word, but we took it back to say it as an endearment, like, you know what, yeah, I am an N-word, and I say it in a good way. You know, but if you can one day use it against me to say it in a negative way, then you shouldn't be saying it at all. I don't understand why people fight so hard to want to say that word. Why does everybody want to do the same thing? Like, that's part of black culture. Just like Indian people can't do that whole, like, a lot of people can't do the whole, like, remember people back in the day used to do this with that Indian sound, like the, you know, the noise that they used to make. You do that now, oh, they will chop and block you. You know, but they can do it because that's part of their culture. Just like Hispanic people can probably say certain words to other Hispanic people because, you know, that's part of their culture. And black people want to have something to themselves. So therefore they're like, finally, we have something to ourselves. I think that originally hip hop, rap music was made for black people. It wasn't made for other races to just join in and like say these words. But I think originally that word was put in there and it was okay for people to say that word because they didn't think that other races was going to jump in and try to sing along too. And it's like, just because it's in a song doesn't mean you have to say it word for word. Like, especially if you know it can hurt somebody. And just know, if you're giving out N-word passes and somebody gave you out an N-word pass, just know that there's consequences to saying the N-word around certain people. And just know, if you get your teeth knocked out, don't get mad. Don't get mad. You knew. And I'm warning you, if you see this video and you go around using the N-word, and somebody smacked the mess out of you one day, don't get mad. That's what comes with the consequences of saying a word that you're not really supposed to say. And is it fair? No, but life is not fair. We can go around saying, well, just don't say the word. That's not realistic. Just like we tell people not to kill, steal, and destroy, people still do it. And just like people are still going to use the N-word. But there's consequences to using it, just letting you know. There's a lot of racism, colorism issues that goes on in the Latino community already. So they can discriminate against Black people, and Black people can feel discriminated against by Latino people. And I think that is the problem, is that they have a privilege over Black people as well. And what do you guys think below? Like, let me know, because I think a lot of people are mixing up nationality. Because yes, are there Afro-Latinos? Yes, there are Afro-Latinos and they identify as Black, but Blackness is defined differently in every country, in every race and nationality. I think a lot of people are mixing those up. There's race, there's nationality, and there is, you know, ethnicity. You know, race is what you see on the outside. Somebody's gonna call the cops on you or whatever. They're gonna identify you of what you look like. They're gonna say Hispanic, or they're gonna say white, or they're gonna say Black, Asian, whatever. You're gonna be a Hispanic person and talk Spanish all day. Somebody's gonna say he's Black, you know, if you look Black. Gina Rodriguez, she does not look Black. She does not identify with Black. She does not identify with Black issues. Therefore, she shouldn't be saying the N-word, period. Period. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. If somebody gave you the N-word pass, just know, like I said, there's consequences to it. There was a story done just not long ago where these younger Black kids, I don't know what is going on with the younger generation right now. I don't know if it's the music that's influencing their little tiny little brains, but there was a, you know, a white football player in Texas who said the N-word on camera, calling a Hispanic person the N-word. And, you know, the Hispanic person was like, well, I'm not an N-word. So they obviously know that they don't identify with that word. So why are you saying that word when you don't even identify as that word? I don't really identify as that word, but there's Black people who are like, all right, you know what? Since y'all want to call me the N-word, yeah, I'm identify it in an endearment way. But if you don't identify with it, why are you saying it? And then you got this little Caucasian guy saying it, and then his Black friends were like, well, he's cool, he's down. No, he's not down, because I promise you, all the kids that I grew up with in high school that was down with the Black people are straight up like anti-Black now. They don't stand for Black Lives Matter. Black people get on their nerves. They can't stand it. Like, I'm so surprised of how racist a lot of the kids that used to be down grew up to be, because, you know, they're children now, but once they grow up and they get the influence of their peers and their family, they're going to grow up a totally different way, and you're going to feel stupid because you gave somebody the N-word pass that's now using that word to oppress you and discriminate against you. That's the problem. Y'all go ahead and comment down below and let me know how y'all feel. Have y'all ever gave anybody the N-word pass, and why are we giving out these passes, and where was this election? Because I would like to know, because if you're the Black Caucus leader, I need to know. Like, I need to know who's in office so I can see who's giving out these passes, because Remy Ma, like, you don't speak for me. And, you know, a lot of people in New York use that word, and, you know, I'm from the South. We don't do that down here. We don't do that down here. We don't say that. If you come my way and say that, it's going to be a problem. And if you say it to other Black people down here, it's going to be a problem. So just know, if you're from New York and you say that word so freely, just understand, when you go somewhere else and you on social media and out in the public, people are going to check you, okay? And if you get your teeth knocked out, that's on you, because you decided to use that word. Y'all go ahead and comment below and let me know how y'all feel about the N-word pass. Gina Rodriguez, Amara La Negra saying it's okay, and if we don't want to use it, then we shouldn't say it in songs, and Lonnie Love saying it as well. What do you guys think below? Go ahead and comment, and also let me know what more would you like to see from me. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.